I'm excited.
Good. I am as well.
Yeah,
I am as well.
I'm excited.
Welcome to the Say Your Piece podcast. This is where we uplift authentic voices, and we have a really authentic voice here today. And this woman, this beautiful woman, came all the way from the North Bay.
Yeah, Fairfield.
Came from the North Bay to speak to us about relationships and family. She is a life and family therapist.
Licensed
Therapist. We got to put that on there because that's important. And just a wonderful person that I met in community at an open mic and did an amazing poem about Black men. I felt all warm and fuzzy in the inside. Like I felt like, oh, I mean, I could do anything after this. A mom, a fun mom as well. And I'm pretty sure you wear a bunch of other hats as well.
All kinds of hats.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Yoga teacher.
Yoga?
Poet.
What?
Yeah. A Momo. My daughter has a little girl now. So yeah. We don't do granny.
Don't do those.
We're not there.
Yeah.
I'm still but yeah.
Yeah.
What else? A good friend, a daughter, sister, the whole nine.
Sister.
Yeah. And an advocate for us. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I want to start with poetry.
Okay.
And not too big, but that's how I met you. So if we didn't connect, when we connected, I'd be like, oh, you're a writer, you're a poet.
Yeah.
Just off basic perception, but it's always more to people.
Right.
So when did you start writing? What does writing do for you?
Wow. As far back as I can remember, I have written little stories. I remember specifically thinking I was writing cursive by writing squiggly lines on a notepad. And then handing it to my mom and being like, okay, read this.
Yeah.
So, but the earliest I remember is writing like short stories when I was like 6.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it's just always been my way of one, escape, I would say, but also like it's helped me have a voice when I was younger. Like I didn't have a speaking voice. I didn't know how to speak up.
Yeah.
And it was often how I would communicate something challenging or something exciting or what have you. So it's just always been, I actually have a poem about pen and paper being my confidant.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just always been like a trustworthy confidant for me. Yeah. So
definitely.
Yeah. Wordsmith. No.
No, you are. And I resonate with all of that because like writing has always been there, something that doesn't combat my thoughts, but
exactly
allow me to be objective, allow me to be my full self when I feel like I'm in places that I can't be my full self.
Yeah. As well as just being uncensored.
Yeah.
And that's been nice to just like, because we could get into it, but you know, the brain doesn't know that even if you're expressing something and the person's not there, you can get it out and still process it without necessarily harming anyone. So you can be really uncensored. So that's been helpful. Many times.
I like what you said. Like you can get it out without the person being there because the brain doesn't know.
Exactly.
And sometimes and you talked a lot about this in your toxic relationship one, and we'll get to that. But more so about the brain being just the brain. And to use it as so.
Absolutely.
And we can also, it can be used against us or for us.
Yeah, you can leverage it. I think the key is understanding your brain is yours, meaning you are in control.
Yeah.
But often we are controlled by it, and it actually can come under our command because the mind and the brain are different. And so consciousness and the brain are different, right? But we tend to lump them all together as one.
Yeah.
So I try to help people understand you can leverage your brain to serve you, if that makes sense.
For the people that don't know, because people think the brain and consciousness is one. A lot of communities do too. So what would be the difference between consciousness and
brain,
the physical?
So the brain, I try to help people understand that's the organ, right? It's like your command center. And yes, we need the brain to have our thoughts, etc. But like we are consciousness. Like the essence, you can call it the seed of man, or the essence of who we are, like spirit.
Yeah.
And that is the observer of your experience, the human experience, the spiritual experience, etc. Right? So it's that eternal, never-ending, infinite you.
Yeah.
The brain is the organ while you're living in this human body, right? And then the mind is where we're just, thinking and processing, executive functioning. But the observer of it all is consciousness. That's how I make sense out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that explained it well, but
no, that makes sense. It's your infinite self.
Yes.
It's what don't I like to say, like, close your eyes and visualize something. And it's kind of like when you're asleep, you don't know what your body is doing,
right?
But your consciousness is at work.
Absolutely.
You're floating in between different parallel universes or worlds or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So it can be hard for people to grasp because we've been taught to be so concrete and material. But like, it's that sense of like knowing there's a you.
Yeah.
Right. And you use the word infinite. That's the symbol I'll tend to use, because that can never be destroyed or damaged. Like the true infinite you, right?
Infinite you. Beyond the titles, beyond mom.
Beyond all of it.
Beyond
It's a transcendent. It's not, there is no mom, there is no, you're right. It's just consciousness, which is where we're all interconnected. So don't get me started.
I want to get you started. I want to get you started. This is dope, because we about to open some stuff up.
Okay.
And so, and what makes me think that too, and just being fully control of yourself, being on my mental health journey, one of the things I started doing was saying affirmations to myself and repeating it to myself.
Yeah.
Do you also are a supporter of affirmations in your work?
Absolutely. Particularly if it's self-generated content. So in neuroscience, things you come up with authentically, your brain will prioritize that over a borrowed affirmation.
Wow. Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So, for example, people go on like Pinterest, or they'll be on social media or whatever, and they'll see affirmations, and they'll say them, and some of them they might say, and it really resonates, right? And that's fine. If it resonates, meaning there's a vibration with that hits your spirit and you're good with it, it can be really powerful.
Yeah.
But you ever catch yourself saying something super profound, like hella profound, rating system, and that's like when you buy a car and then you see that make and model everywhere you go. You see your car. It's not that suddenly you see it or there's more of them. It's that your brain has started to prioritize scanning the environment for them. So when you have generated content, your brain tends to prioritize that as more important, similar to the car. So if you write it and you see it, it'll actually absorb it more to help kind of rewire that belief.
Wow.
Right? So because a lot of times we're doing affirmations to either like deconstruct something or to just like reinforce something. And so that's essentially how it works. So our own content is even better. Like my example is one of my journal entries says, I have options. I always have, I always do, I always will. And when I read that back, I believed myself. I felt it. It wasn't just words, right?
Right.
And so now I've like put that visually somewhere so I can see my own content back on a regular basis.
So how does somebody that doesn't, doesn't know their own voice or still learning their own voice, figure that out?
I mean, I think if anything, writing, of course, is going to be one for me. But it's okay to borrow from other people's voices, right? Like if you hear something that resonates, I mean, we all have things, whether it's media, whether it's music, song lyrics, a quote that resonates with us. It's just like finding what actually, it's a feeling state, right?
Yeah.
And starting there, and then over time, maybe playing with it, hearing the sound of your own voice out loud by yourself. Like I encourage people to talk to themselves.
Right.
And mental health, everyone thinks talking to yourself is crazy. And I'm like, you do it all day.
Smartest people talk to themselves.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because I talk to myself. But aside from that, you need to hear your own voice, right? Also, like if you're just listening to your thoughts and believing them all day, you're talking to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're not really taught to examine and question and challenge our thoughts. We tend to identify with them versus realize we have thoughts. And if we have them, we can observe them, like we were saying, and we can change them, right? But I would say starting with things that just simply speak to you, and then, maybe even practicing or writing it down and saying out loud what you're writing down to just start getting used to the sound of your own voice. I work with a lot of women who grew up where they were silenced and censored and it wasn't safe to speak, right? Or speak up. And that's been a huge part of what we do, is just letting them hear themselves speak.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, in terms of like, hearing your own voice, how would you silence those negative thoughts that come into your head?
Listen, my favorite question is, whose voice is that? Right?
Yeah,
like, whose voice is that? And do I agree?
Ooh.
Like, do I agree?
Say that one more time.
Whose voice is that? And do I agree?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's realizing you don't have to agree. Like, what we're trying to, so our people, we were connected to spirit. We were connected to land. We were connected to things beyond what we were, just told. But now that we've been conditioned the way we have, and we're really separated from our roots, right?
Yes.
We tend to reject the idea of the deconditioning of our minds. Let me just put it that way. So what we have to understand is, a lot of, even if it's our parents or even if it's a grandparent, a lot of those voices are Eurocentric.
Yes.
You feel me? They're
yeah.
rooted in oppression. And so I think we don't know that, like, we are not our thoughts. We are not our behaviors. I think I mentioned that in the video. We are not our emotions. We are conscious and we have a choice. But we don't necessarily think about think about what we're thinking about. It's called metacognition, learning to think about what you're thinking about, how you're thinking as an observer of your own thoughts. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and look, everybody ain't on this wave, but I use psilocybin, right? And one thing about psilocybin, it unlocks certain things in your mind. And one of the things it does for me is to kind of step outside of the thoughts that I have, and kind of like not analyze it, but look at it from a perspective of like, why are you thinking like this? How did this come about?
Exactly.
Where did this come from?
Yeah. And you ever play that game when you were little, like, where you on a thought and you're like, how did I end up on this thought? And then you start backtracking the thought.
Yep.
So we know how to do this. It's thinking about what you're thinking about, but doing it I always say, do it from a curious place, because we tend to, if we're really close to the thought and we identify with our experience, our thoughts, we'll judge.
Yeah.
Curiosity, to me, it kills judgment. It kills criticism. It's just kind of like, I noticed I had that thought, right? And so learning to silence, back to your question, learning to silence those voices, aside from do I agree, it's just like, I noticed that this thought keeps showing up. The more we can practice noticing a thought, the more we start realizing I am not the thought. I'm noticing the thought. Because if I am my thoughts, who's having them? Right? So it's like learning to observe, being like present, but also like bird's eye view. Kind of having dual awareness around that. But it starts to train us to stop I stating everything in terms of our thoughts or our behaviors, or our choices or mistakes, right? Because we I it, we make it us. I am the problem. Right. So yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
In terms of like, okay, so that brings me to my next question, like meditation.
Yes.
And observing those thoughts in meditation. A lot of people say I can't meditate because I can't just stay focused with my eyes closed and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think you can kind of like dispel some of the myths about meditation, and what people think you should be like a shallow monk or something and meditate.
Right. Yeah. So what I learned in my yoga teacher training that helped frame it for me, meditation is literally a single point of focus. And it doesn't mean you're going to only have a single point of focus. That's what you're learning to train yourself to try to have a single point of focus. Sometimes that might be with your eyes open, focusing on the light playing on the carpet from the window, right? Or the sounds in the room, and just letting yourself be really present with your experience. There's walking meditations, there's moving meditations. It's really about presencing yourself, right? And I think there's I mean, it's a discipline. When you're talking the monks,
yeah,
they were raised doing
yeah,
it. They also weren't householders. They weren't
yeah,
living in this world, right?
yeah,
But what I will say is, it's not about clearing the mind. People think, and especially like coming up in a Christian faith,
yeah.
you
We
don't
can
clear
talk
your
about that.
mind, right? It's
What
like
I think is
it's woo woo,
demonic.
it is
Yeah, yeah,
demonic,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
The reality is, you're just present
yeah.
in the moment, where there's just narrating. Today is Sunday. We in Oakland at the library. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking, right? It's like learning how to just be really present and in the moment. And then maybe picking something that will capture your attention. It could be just your breathing or your heart rate or an image, right? But it's not a certain way it needs to look.
Yeah.
Because what's meditative for some people have it washing dishes.
Yeah. Come on now.
Repetitive motion, just
Yeah.
like they just get
Lifting
to go.
weights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, running,
Yeah.
music, art, like whatever you're doing where you're really present especially in a creative space, it's highly meditative, right? Because you're just in the flow state, so to speak. But I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Yeah.
There's not a right or wrong way to do it.
I love that because it takes it out of the box of what you think it is, and then placing it into the box. Well, not a box, placing it into something where you know it's doable, right?
Absolutely, for anybody. And what's interesting about the woo woo thing is, like, there's so much science now, since some people need the science. There's so much science that anybody can look up to show the power of meditation.
Yes.
How it slows your nervous system down, how it can heal a lot of inflammation in the body, because we're learning how to just be really present and get our nervous system back into like a balance or harmonious state.
Oh yeah.
Which essentially is what's necessary for healing and sleeping and processing food, etc. So it actually is not bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even in my faith as a Christian, I'm like, I don't think God would be like, you can't heal yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
I think anything outside of the norm,
yeah,
and people don't, grow and evolve in whatever their practice is.
Yeah.
They don't want to float to the other side because they feel like they're being disobedient to, whatever.
Which that's a whole different topic, but it's interesting how we kind of make all these rules and decide all these rules without actually really exploring, is that accurate? But I look at it as that's a part of the human experience, is being present, being very introspective, but also like being one with nature, being one and connecting with yourself internally. We were taken from that.
Yes.
So we've bought into what we were taken from, because the more you are detached from yourself, the more you can be oppressed and disempowered. And so we've bought into, and I say we, like humanity in a lot of ways, or at least Western culture, we've bought into these ideals that are actually the thing that put us in the positions we are in. Yeah. Right. So now it's woo woo, and it's like, but who told you that? Yeah. Again, whose voice is that? Yeah. And do you agree?
And again, I love when you say, "Who told you that?" I read a book called The Four Agreements, which changed my life, and it also allows you to say, who put these things into your subconscious or your conscious mind. And I think that's very powerful, because again, you can say, oh, I do agree with it, or I don't agree with it. And you can start to kind of like start getting rid of all the clutter that you learned and start relearning.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because unlearning, I think, is one of the hardest things.
Yep.
Because while we're unlearning, we're also learning something new, right?
Yes.
But it's not impossible, because we all have the capacity to rewire our nervous systems. And that's all you're doing when you're unlearning and relearning. I like to think of like our neural pathway as, when you go like hiking, and like you'll see the trail everybody takes.
Yes.
And then sometimes you might see in the grass, there's like a trail that you can see it's kind of being forged, but it's not as permanent.
Yeah.
So sometimes we got to unlearn that trail that everybody takes, and like really reinforce that trail that's kind of like impressed, but it's not fully there. So we have some other alternative routes.
So how much of that is like causes you to dig into yourself and be brave? Because I see my cousin I see my cousin go to college, and I see my cousin graduate in 4 years, rather than I had all C's in school, and I didn't get into a good school, and I think I'm really good at business, but I have a low credit score. You know, these are just examples, right? It's
but
true,
it's real.
Yeah.
But it's real. Yeah. I think often we have to learn again to question, like, who says and under what authority, right? For example, I was talking to someone yesterday who was talking about wanting to start her business. And she was like, you know, she had the imposter syndrome and she was nervous or what have you. And the reality is she's doing this for her employer. So I'm like, if you can do this for your employer, you could do it for yourself, because they pay you well to do what you could be doing for yourself. But she was like, I don't know if I need certifications. I'm like, people, when they come to us, right, for services or goods, they want quality, they want a benefit. Half the time they don't care about that diploma or that certification. They want to know, can you deliver on what you said, right? And so really trying to deconstruct this ideal that all these measures that were put in place basically to get money out of us.
Right.
I'm not,
Make you jump over all these hoops.
Absolutely.
And again, like you said, get money, keep you in a certain class.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not to disqualify education by any means. I had to go through an education to be in a position. And it did have its place. But let's be real, we got some fools walking around.
Come on now.
Capitalizing on people and offering absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we have to understand that we too, we have to see our value and our worth and our power for ourselves and get our own belief behind backing ourselves. And that's an area I've been working on big time, because I have lots of self-doubt and fear. And I'm realizing lately, it's not about that going away. It's about being able to hold it. Right? And then continuing to do what you've been called to do. But you hold the fear. Is it holdable? Right?
Right.
It ain't going to necessarily pass.
Yeah. They say, like, chances are, if you're scared to do it, then that's something that you should.
Probably. Yeah. Because we're stretched beyond our comfort zone. Yeah. And our nervous system will fight against us because it likes predictability. It don't care about, are you thriving? It cares about, can I predict an outcome to keep you safe?
Wow. And is that part of the ego?
Probably. I mean, nervous system, ego, you could actually, they probably real close cousins. But well, yeah, of course, the never wanting to fail or be perceived a certain way, or you know, falling short in some capacity, right? The reality is consciousness supersedes ego. Wow. Purpose supersedes ego.
And living in that presence.
And then presence must supersede ego, but it's learning. So when I mentioned the nervous system, I think it's important to point out that it's always driven by your safety. So, and the way it's very efficient. So the brain isn't designed to be like perfectly accurate. It's designed to be efficient. And so it's always looking at what has made you feel either that you can't succeed, that you're not loved, that you're not safe, right? Wow. So when we start stretching and taking risks or putting ourselves out there, it's going to associate. When were those other times you took risks?
That's a fact.
Right?
That's a fact.
What were those other times you failed?
Yeah, man.
When were you laughed at, mocked, right? And so it'll bring up the feeling state that says, no.
You be your own worst enemy sometimes. You be your own op. Sorry.
And it's not on purpose. The nervous system is working as designed, but we have a lot of experiences stored that will tell us we're not safe or we're not loved or we can't succeed. And those experiences don't necessarily represent the truth now. The nervous system is just associating it because it's trying to keep you safe. Yeah. And so if we learn to hold the fear and still do the thing, you're teaching the nervous system, I can create a new association. This experience is not going to kill Swerve, right? Swerve is safe.
Right.
And so, and then the more you do it, now you're making that groove on that hiking trail deeper and deeper. That's the way I like to break it down, because it's neuroscience is complex.
Yeah.
And we've just tapped into it. So it's like, I try to find like real life examples to break that down. But that's been my most recent revelation of my own journey, because I'm a healing healer.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So since we're talking about the nervous system, I got a boy. Shout out to my boy. Randy. He's from Cameroon, but he
Randy.
overseas right now.
Okay.
And he put me onto 432 HZ.
Oh, the hertz.
The hertz.
Okay.
The
sounds.
The sounds.
Yeah.
And we know that vibrations, light and vibrations does a lot for us.
Yeah.
So do you believe in the sounds of healing, healing the body?
Absolutely. Colors, sounds, different types of light, like UV light, because everything is energy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Everything is energy. Even when you talk about matter and atoms, that's energy. Made up of energy, right? Yeah. So if everything's energy, everything's vibrating at a certain wavelength. So certain sounds and certain colors and certain textures or what have you, this is why music is so universal. You can just use music, how it speaks to us or how it moves us into an emotion. Yeah. And so those different levels, they can support different brainwave activity and different chemistry, brain chemistry to support the nervous system. So shout out to Randy for putting you on. Yeah. And learning to play with different frequencies can everybody's different. So finding like what works for you, and sometimes what works for you might need to change. Like recently I've been doing brown noise because that's a different frequency and it's been helping me sleep better. But yeah, I believe in all of that. I'm with it.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Even smells, certain smells will elicit a certain emotion that can alter your internal state.
Wow. Yeah, I love lavender. We all know that lavender is pretty calming, but that's something that I resonate with. Yeah. It helped me with my migraines a lot. Back when I used to get them. I don't get them anymore.
You don't get them anymore. Yeah. And then there's that placebo effect as well, because how we believe tends to also align with how we heal or don't heal.
Let me ask you this. So based upon what we believe, can we physically see something different from somebody else because we're looking at it differently?
I think so. I remember when I was really young hearing this quote. It said, if you look for something long enough, you'll find it. Yeah. But I mean, that's like confirmation bias, right? Like we will often so that reticular activating system, we will often prioritize what we want to see to prove ourselves right.
Yeah. That's true.
And it's not always conscious. This isn't always something I'm walking around consciously like, let me find the detail that proves me right. It's because after we believe our thoughts long enough, they become so ingrained in our subconscious that our subconscious is prioritizing the information to prove itself right. Right? Yeah. So you can physically, I mean, it's just like a car accident. One person standing here, one person standing there. Everybody has this different perspective. So everybody's seeing something different.
Do you think that's like has to do with like the law of attraction as well?
Like manifesting?
Yeah, manifesting.
I mean, I'm no expert on manifestation, but from what I'm teaching myself and learning, yes. Okay. Like, and that's where the whole neuroscience meets spirituality meets metaphysics, right? And the physical world is understanding. I've learned more recently that I am co-creating with the divine, whether it's God or the universe or however you identify. And the reason it resonates so much is because I have lived experience of looking back and going, I can see how I contributed to that based on how I was thinking and what I was believing. Yeah. Right? And what I was available for and what I was not available for. Wow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so looking back, I'm like, oh, you mean had I been more intentional? Right? Because there are certain things that you just could not tell me weren't going to happen for me. Right? There was no imposter syndrome. It didn't matter how hard it was or how impossible it was. There was just nothing that would convince me otherwise. And so that what is the word? Coherence.
Yeah.
It just was like, well, it's going to unfold. And the how always comes. That's one of my other sayings that I tell myself. The how always comes. I don't have to know the how. I just need to know the what and the why. Right? Yeah. What it is and why I want it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
To answer your question, yes.
No, definitely. And I think that's going to help a lot of people. I don't need to know the how. I need to know the what and the why.
The what and the why.
And I think sometimes when we're searching for answers and we have to go within, we need to know what and why.
What and why.
Especially the why.
Yeah.
Right. And then it brings that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's really easy to give up.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. For sure. For
It's
sure.
super easy to give up. Like even going into a practice, with no business acumen. Like when you go to school to be a therapist, they're not preparing you for private practice.
Yeah.
But I knew that I did not want to be controlled in how I show up for the people that I show up for. Right. It was clear to me that being a therapist was my purpose. But why private practice had to do with not wanting to continue to feel boxed in, nor allowing that to then translate over to the people I support, because these systems will really try to dictate that. And I was like, not the kid, because I know I move very differently than what the system says is the right way to move, right? Particularly supporting people who are not Eurocentric or European ancestry. Yeah.
And I think that's what I love too. I love that you come from a you perspective, because it's who you are.
Yes.
And you're shining your knowledge and your abundance on other people to help them get through their stuff, but based upon serving people that look like you.
Yeah.
Serving people that's going through similar things that you have went through, that you can resonate with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So my very first supervisor taught me this, and I don't think she knew what she was really saying to me, because how that translated to me. But I was scared to death to see my first client. I'm still in school. I'm like, I'm not equipped. I don't feel adequate. And she was like, the healing is in the relationship. And she was like, and you can do that. And I was like, now that I can do. I can do relationships, right? As I know that I can relate to people.
Yeah.
And it has informed how I move and how I see healing. It's always the relational container.
Yeah.
All of the skills and theories and interventions and certifications, those are like the cherry. But we the cake, right? Like we have to be in a relationship. So if a person is that I'm supporting or working with, they can't just know they're safe. They must feel safe. So it's not just my environment is safe. I must be safe. Like I'm the safe space. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that that's true in any context or any field you're working in. Is you are the brand.
Yeah.
Like I don't go to Target and not expect it to be Target. There's just certain associations that I know, or wherever, whatever it is, Victoria's Secret, whatever, TJ Maxx, whatever. There's an expectation that comes with, if I'm in this environment, this is what I'm going to experience, right? That is true for us as well. So any offerings we have, you first, right? It has to be you led.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And all right, so now that we're talking about your practice, I got a chance to look at the toxic relationship. And I'm glad you just named it that, because it gravitates a lot of people in, because you see all online toxic relationships. Yes, toxic relationships.
Right.
But it's nowhere. I ain't gonna say it's nowhere, but it's nothing. It's nothing what people believe toxic relationships to be. Now we're talking about family, friends, co-workers,
exactly.
Significant others, right?
All the above.
All the above. It's not just, you get in an argument with your boyfriend and you try to hit him with a car and he try to do something. It ain't just that.
Let's hope not.
It's deeper, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's including the relationship with ourselves.
Ooh, come on now.
Yeah, everything is in relationship with everything. So everyone is in relationship with everyone. But those blueprints get established so early on.
Yeah.
And often before we have a chance to really have the insight to cultivate our own self relationship, it's being informed and influenced or even negatively impacted by the ones we're having outside of us, because that's how we make sense of ourselves. Right. And so I think that we often, again, identify with the pattern versus recognizing how did it develop.
Yeah.
And it's all based on what we hold in our body in relation to the early relationships we had when we were young, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So that tends to continue. So at an unconscious level, we continue those patterns of picking people or navigating relationships in our family or what have you the same way in every context. Wow. Yeah, and it's literally based in attachment theory, which is our need and drive to attach to survive.
Yeah,
there's no surviving without attaching in the human experience, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely, because you want to. That's what a relationship is all about. It's all about that connection.
Always connection.
Yeah, as beings, as carbon beings, we want to connect to something.
Yeah.
We want to connect to other people. I think what resonated with me was the people pleasing.
Oh yes.
I was
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I was listening, and I'm just, so much stuff is coming up in my mind. I start thinking about my mom. I start thinking about how my mom was sort of a people pleaser, right?
Sure.
And she wanted to, please certain situations, and then it kind of rubbed off on me. Although my dad was in my life, it was just off and on. He wasn't a people pleaser, but she was. Like, he didn't care nothing about that, but I didn't get that. I picked it up from my mom.
Sure.
And then that led to relationships where I was overextending myself to people when people wasn't being was no reciprocity coming back. You feel me?
Yeah. It's common. It's actually a stress response. It is not a personality trait. So people pleaser, that even that word, sometimes it'll get me, because I'm like, no, you're not a people pleaser. That is a stress response.
Right.
It's the only one that is shows up when it comes to people contact. So we have fight, flight, freeze, fawn, flop, right? We have these different stress responses that are naturally going to occur when something overwhelms us, or we feel like, we're under threat. And our nervous system decides this. So this is really important. People don't decide their stress response. Wow. The nervous system decides for you. This is why in those moments where you might like crash out, there's this part of you that's like, I don't know why. I felt like I could have stopped it, but I couldn't stop it. Or like I was seeing red, or I just blacked out. I don't remember, right? It's because the nervous system chose.
Wow.
We don't consciously, like your conscious thought, your executive functioning is very limited access when your survival mode kicks in. And so this is why like impulse control and like people making split decisions, and that can be great, where a car can get lifted off somebody, or that can be horrible because somebody got violent, right? The fawn response is a tricky one, because what it is we grow up, and how we grew up, and this is not about blaming anybody, but our experiences that we have in our close relationships where there's authority and love and care is reliant, you're relying on somebody else's care. You start to learn like what is and is not safe for you to maintain your connection or to prevent a threat. So say you have let's just say you have a parent who is like really mixed in terms of like showing you nurture, but then also rage or criticism, or maybe they're even physically violent or what have you. The nervous system begins to associate. So I'm doing this right because the nervous system will associate love and care and connection to harm. Wow. And that little child starts to learn to read the social cues to appease so that they stay connected. Because if you notice, babies are always scanning to see, are you looking at me, right? So to stay connected, or to appease to try to prevent the threat from happening, right?
Yeah.
And you see it in like cycles of abuse and like domestic violence relationships where the person's like, well, why didn't you leave? And it's like because they're in the deep state of fawning, trying to keep themselves safe. And so over time it gets reinforced, and that is your way you learn. And it's not conscious. Once again, your nervous system decides to stay safe or to stay connected in this relationship. I must appease, right? It means I don't have preference. My preferences become secondary. My needs, if I even think I should have needs, they shouldn't be at the forefront. They should always be on the back. You hear people say, I put myself on the back burner. Right. And that always tells me, if you find yourself overextending or people pleasing, that there were experiences when you were young that didn't feel secure in your attachments to say, I'm safe, I'm accepted, I'm loved as I am. I don't have to do anything. Right. Just I am worthy because I exist. That experience didn't, and I say experience, not thought. The experience didn't translate. You can think, oh, I know I'm worthy, but you didn't feel.
You didn't feel it.
You didn't feel it.
You should have been feeling it, but it's not actually what happened.
Yeah, and those implicit memories, those beliefs that say, well, this is the only way, or I feel guilty if I say no. Or I'm anxious if I say no. Like it feels so uncomfortable to be like, well, I don't really want to help you move this weekend because I just don't. So then you start just like, let me come up with a reason, right? You start trying to figure out reasons. And what if it's just you don't want to? Right. Then, that makes me a this person or that person. Right. Everything I've ever done that's good gets negated and canceled out.
And that's really hard in a black family because black family, there's no individualism sometimes. Right. And we want to all be like, no, we want to say we a collective when we a collective.
When it's convenient.
When it's convenient.
When it's convenient.
And you tell grandma, no, I don't want to do this, but you ain't gonna do this, and you start getting that shame. They start placing that shame and that blame on you. You know, how do we navigate through that? Because that's goes on a lot of like upbringings in a black household.
Yeah, shame. So shame is a big one for me because living through lots of shame, but like also working with people with shame, and because shame and guilt. Guilt says I did something bad.
Yeah.
Shame says I am bad.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we have also an opportunity to look at like, why am I ashamed? What am I ashamed of? What is telling me I'm bad? But secondly, we need to call shame out. I noticed that anytime somebody says this made me feel ashamed or I'm ashamed of myself, they're free almost instantly. Like, because the moment, so shame makes you feel like you're this dark, dirty secret.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, so, and the shame will have you in a chokehold because you're not telling on it. And so I tend to personify everything. I should have said that. The reason I personify things is because it makes it more relatable. So if I look at shame like the ops.
Yeah.
I'm busting your ass out.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So I'll just.
It is an energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
It could be an entity. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you don't have to tell someone, but you can acknowledge I feel ashamed. Oftentimes we're not even looking at it as shame. We're believing the thoughts that the shame produces.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Right, like we're stuck in the experience of shame, not even looking at it like, wait a minute.
We ain't looking at for what it is.
It's shame.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what am I ashamed of? Yeah. Why should I be ashamed of myself? Now that in our culture is a horrible statement to say to a child.
Yes.
You do something, you make a mistake, or you do something that's considered wrong and not, appropriately developmental, right?
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
You hear those words? Wow. So I should be ashamed of me.
Wow.
Not, oh, that wasn't a good idea, son or daughter. Like you should have, talked to somebody, or that was a mistake, or, or that whole you knew better. And they'd be like, but did I know better? Should I have known better? Because I'm 8.
Come on now.
Right?
Come on now.
So those words, but we take it on and we do hold the shame, but the shame will have us in a grip. And it's like, if you acknowledge it as shame, starting there, because it's an emotion.
Yeah.
It's simply an emotion, but we're identifying with the emotion as I am bad. Right? Yeah. So calling it out, like that's like probably 90% of it. I mean, you still got some residual to work through, but calling it for what it is, you'd be shocked how it reorients you. It reorients your relationship to the experience. So suddenly you're not like this. You're like, oh, I can see it. I'm over here. This is a shame.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So in terms of like, some parents, I got whoopings when I was younger.
Yep.
And whooping your kids, and I used to get whoopings for leaving the toilet seat up.
Yeah.
I forgive you. However, some stuff is a little extreme.
Sure.
I almost brought that into my parenting style, but I was able to look at it and say it wasn't right. And then a lot of brothers, when they father their kids, they'd be like, "Well, I got a whooping, so these kids won't be outside acting up. It's better than I do it than somebody else do." But what I also noticed that it messes with your self-esteem.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's hard to talk about this stuff in our culture and not mention oppression and enslavement.
Yeah, come on.
Because all of that is, if you think about it, it's an adaptation, right?
Yeah.
It's not to excuse anything, but it is to help understand that ancestrally we were taught to comply to live, to comply to survive. And so to keep us in check, they only had to do it once. We continue to produce the dividends. it was an investment one time or however many times until we got the message, and then generationally we carry it out.
Yeah.
And it's well-meaning.
Yeah.
But it's denying the fact that we are essentially still dehumanizing ourselves, right? Like, I get discipline. I'm not saying we don't discipline, but where is the conversation?
Yeah.
Right? Where is the I love you and this is still a bad decision you made? Yeah. Where are the alternative ways you can be hard and not have to put hands, right? Yeah. Or pull out a belt, because when you think about it, who taught us to pull out belts and beat our children?
Right.
Who taught it, right? And so I think we just lose so much of context because we've been taught to parent from a very master slave driven mentality. Ooh. Right?
Yeah, that hit. Yeah.
There is no, like, you just do what I say. You just do as you told. Like, there's no humanity in the parenting. There's no, like, wait a minute. What would we have been like as parents had we not been enslaved? Had we not been dehumanized that way? Like, would we be having conversations? Would a village be raising this child together, right? So when we're stressed like that, and then we have this, just we don't challenge it. We don't challenge the way that just because that's how you were brought up and it worked for you. How did it work for you though? What did it work at? Like, did it make you compliant?
Yeah. And I think that's why what you do and who you are is so important to this. Because you add a level, you add a level of love, but you also add the level of humanity and the realization of what we went through as a whole.
Yeah.
And it also helps heal the generational bloodline, because a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people just think this is what it is because it's been like this for so long.
Yeah.
And then we get into these relationships, and some people that do know, let's just say you meet a person that is aware of some things like this, and a person that's fully unaware.
Right.
And then you start to clash because you go like, well, my dad did, well, we're not going to do it like this. And it's not working at that moment because of that.
Yeah, you all in my business.
Yeah.
Had a relationship like that. Yeah. And so I'm getting all this insight and I'm understanding things differently and I'm evolving and doing the inner work.
Yeah.
And then you've got this very rigid, very like, oh, that's that bullshit. It's like a whole different viewpoint. And there's like not even receptivity to be like, well, let me try to be open.
Yeah.
And I mean, it creates a lot of clash. It creates a lot of judgment and contempt where it's like, so we have to be mindful of who we align with values wise, right? But not just values wise. What trajectory are you on?
Yeah.
Like, are you doing any work?
Yeah.
Right. Because if not, you're gonna be exhausted, right?
Yeah.
But it is tricky because many of us partner with these ideals. If we're just talking romantic, we'll partner with these ideals that is like, well, you black, I'm black, so you are you from Richmond? I'm from Richmond.
Yeah.
There's just conversations we're not having. It's a lot of presumption, assumption.
Yeah.
And the more we are accessible to like this information where people are starting to understand that there is no health without mental health, right?
Yeah.
Like, people are getting more insight and starting to connect dots, but there are people who are committed to not doing that.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is.
Yeah. And so it's honestly, that's a gridlock because I didn't figure it out. I'll just say I had to keep it moving.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't let my growth be stunted, right?
And that's another thing, when to keep it moving. You can love this person, right?
Yeah.
And you can totally understand where they're coming from. They might have told you about their childhood. You might have seen how their parents react.
Absolutely.
You might have, we want to keep the black family together, and there's so much of these things of shame of broken homes.
Sure.
But is a home really broken if it wasn't any love there completely? If there wasn't any reciprocity? Are you really breaking up something?
Right, because was it ever intact?
Come on now.
Was it ever a foundation?
Yeah.
No, and I mean, the thing is, staying in something for the sake of staying in it, like, how does that like totally like stunt the growth and what your purpose is in life? And like, I get it. Like, I want to see intact, but we got to be intentional. We just can't be coming together just to be coming together.
Yeah.
And I think that we we don't self-assess, but we don't like zoom out and look at like what's informing a lot of how we view and how we move and how we think. And a lot of it is this systemic stuff. I can't not talk about it because
it is.
This whole country was founded on that. So everything in our culture and everything in what we were taught is to keep that going.
Yeah.
So we're swimming upstream when we challenge it, but it's worth the swim. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I do think that getting stuck in those rigid beliefs around the family, or this is how you parent and this is how you partner and this is what a man does and this is what a woman does. We have to just be okay with challenging some of it and not be so fearful around examining it, because pivoting is not going to kill you.
Yeah.
We can pivot.
Yeah.
You can disrupt some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like, I love this conversation because it is like challenging the norm and the status quo what we see online. I feel like online is such a big presence in a lot of our people's lives. Mm-hmm. And now we're faced with what we need versus what we see. Like in terms of relationships, you know, a woman might say, I need a man to be 6 foot. A man might say, I need a woman to look like X, Y, and Z and do this for me and stuff like that. What is the conversation in romantic relationships, or even maybe friend relationships, you should be looking for when you're courting a person or you want to establish a connection with?
Yeah. My go-to is, and this is from lived experience, I can't even say this professionally, is I had these shitty relationship patterns where I'm like, well, at least I know what I don't want. That was the first thing out of my mouth. And in more recent years, I'm like, that was not the way to go, because that list could be endless. Yeah. Right. And so what happens is, okay, at least I know what I don't want. Next person comes along, they're not doing what the first person was doing, but that don't mean they're doing what I want. It's just more what I don't want. Because I have no clarity around what do I need and want to feel safe, secure, loved, seen, and growing in a relationship. Right? I haven't clarified that for myself. Yeah. So then anything that comes in, there's no litmus test. There's no measure to go, okay, so if I'm going to go buy a house, I know how many bedrooms I want. I know what neighborhood I want to be in, right? Yeah. I know if I want carpet or if I don't want carpet. I know if I want a bathroom in the main bedroom, right? Yeah. I'm very clear, so that when I walk in that house, if it ain't lining up, if a lot of it ain't lining up, I'm like, I don't want this house. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I'm not looking at what I don't want. I'm looking at what I want. But when we come into relationships, we're not clear. We don't even evaluate, like, what do I want? What do I like? What helps me to feel seen and valued and respected, right? Like, we don't have that clarity. So for me, it's less about who you're choosing and more about you, being clear about you. And I tend to start with, what are your emotional needs? What are your core values? Right? If you don't know your emotional needs, what pisses you off? Yeah. Because it's usually the opposite. Yep. Right? Yeah. So if you can't stand somebody constantly criticizing you, then you need acceptance. Yeah. You feel me? Yeah. Or if you don't like to be out in the streets and you like a more quiet life, then that's what you need, right? Yeah. And so being not just aware of it, but learning to embrace it as okay. Yeah. It's okay to have needs, preferences, and wants, right? But we tend to not look at it. And then as far as values go, looking at your values, not just the ones they were given to you, but looking at, like, what do you really value? Right. And if this person that's coming on the scene is in complete opposition, it's likely going to be catastrophic. Like, it's not going to work. Right.
Can you, if you're not at peace with yourself, can you be at peace with somebody else?
I don't think so. Personally, no. I will say, not that it's just black and white like that, because there's sometimes opportunities where you encounter someone and something about that encounter may open up something in you and make you want to be better or want to do your work. Yeah. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I just think that's going to be more rare than really looking at yourself, because how we show up with ourselves is how we show up with other people. There's just you cannot outrun you. Right. You know? Right. And so, and what shows up, here's the thing. We generally don't know where we are or aren't within until we are in a relationship.
Exactly. It's the mirror.
Because it brings up everything. Yeah. And so you'll think you passed something, and then you get in a relationship, and you're like, there that is, right?
Yeah.
So I think that you can do as much work as you want. And then once you're in that dynamic, and the thing is, doing the work helps prepare you to be in a dynamic where you can look at your stuff and not project it and cut the person who didn't cause that original injury. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, like you can take ownership of your part in things. So, and the work you need to do. Because sometimes people trigger things in us that was already there.
Right.
Because what is a trigger? Right? The trigger is pulling on the combustible material that was already
the gun already there.
It was already loaded. It was already there. It was already loaded. Yeah. So if there was no bullets in there and that trigger's pulled, nothing happens. Right? So we are holding stuff, but because it got bumped into by somebody, often we putting it all on them. It doesn't mean that they're exempt, but it does mean I said this way. I have a video. I was like, you want to be triggered, and people probably don't love me for saying that.
No, that's a fact.
But you want to look at what comes up so you can deal with it, so you can attend to it. And so I use the analogy of a zit. Yeah. Right? A zit pops out or a pimple comes on your face. You know you got some toxins.
Yeah. So it has to come out.
It has to come out. Yeah. Yeah.
In order for you to know what you need to work on.
Absolutely.
And try to work through it.
And treat it.
You know, it's not always the way people feel like, you know, still nothing wrong with them, even though they are triggered.
Right.
But it is something that you can look at and be like, hey, I don't like how that felt when I was in that moment.
Exactly.
What can I do about it?
Exactly. I remember one time saying, I don't want this to hurt, but it hurt me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so it's like a way to acknowledge, like, I'm triggered.
Yeah.
Right. What you said hurt me. And that doesn't change the fact that what you said wasn't cool. But it's like also me taking this on of like, I don't want to feel this way, but I just do. And so I'm going to hold this experience. I'm not about to deny it or suppress it or pretend it didn't hurt my feelings. I just, like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it's real.
Yeah. You need to feel that. You need to go through that. And I went through this thing, like, I don't know, I do it every now and then. I fast, right? Mm-hmm. Is your brain right now?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, cool. I go through this thing where I fast and I fast for just like food, smoking weed, drinking, you know, sex, all of that stuff, so I can hear the voice, so I can actually feel what's going on. And those be the toughest times of my life. But it'd be the most important parts of my life because I can literally feel everything. Like,
I see.
Like I'm so sensitive to my environment, the stimulus around me, what people say and stuff that. But you learn so much about yourself. You learn what you don't like, and you can say, "Hey, I don't want to do that," instead of being in a mindset of fog where you just
autopilot.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. And I mean, different people have different ways of introspecting or of like having an internal retreat. That's what I'm hearing you say. Like, I'm just going to retreat. I'm going to go within. And just hear, like, whether it's from the divine, hear from yourself. However, my thing is, the form and fashion of that, it's more of like, make it a point to do it.
Yeah.
And not necessarily only during hardship, right? Like, it's important to, the way I like to word it is come back home to yourself as often as you can.
Ashe, yes.
Yeah, just come back home to yourself, whatever that looks like. Like, my thing is, I haven't been the most patient person all my life.
Okay.
So when things require me to wait, such as the microwave, or, you know, not running that yellow light, but stopping at the yellow and letting myself sit at the red, not necessarily going into the shortest line at the grocery store, because that's just my mode. Like, my MO is like, I'm moving fast and quick.
Right.
But like, I've told myself, embrace the pause.
Yeah. Ooh.
Right.
Ooh.
And in those moments, and it's not always available to me, because there'd be some days like, I ain't got time for the pause, we gotta go. Right. Yeah. But where I let it, you know, be a practice over time, I've learned to be in my body, like, feel your feet on the ground. Yeah. Just notice your breath. I don't even have to take a big breath. Just notice your breath. Notice I'm here, right now. And so that's a way to come home to yourself. Or when you're washing your hands, don't just like feel the water, notice the temperature, look at the hands, see the soap. Yeah. Feel yourself rubbing your hands together, right? These are just little easy ways to make it a part of your routine to just come home to yourself. And that way you are hearing from yourself, you are being clear, you are slowing down, because this world will have you in a tizzy and you'll be on autopilot all your life. You know what I mean? Wow. And you won't have any clarity around what you want, what you need, who you are, where you're going, where you're headed, right? So, yeah.
Let me pause for a moment. I love that pause.
Yeah, embrace the pause.
I get like that too sometimes. I get frustrated with certain things, certain outcomes that I thought should have worked in my favor. I'm one of those type of people, right? I'm gonna bust myself out to say your piece was vulnerable right here.
Yeah.
I'm one of those type of people. I feel like, look, I come with genuine intentions, and I want to be as fair as possible. And when life is not fair to me, I just like, why?
Yeah. Whew. The desperate need to know why.
Yeah.
So from my faith standpoint, I've had to stop questioning the why. Okay. And because it drives me crazy. And I realize, like, if I get the why, am I going to be satisfied with it?
Ooh.
Right? Like, because, like, say somebody betrays you, right? And you'd be like, well, why? Right?
Do you even want to know?
Though? Right. But here's the thing. Yeah. They'll say, well, I was just this, or, I was scared of what you was going to think. It's like, you caused me all that pain, and that's the answer? Like, I need something more substantive, right? Yeah. So nothing really satisfies the why, at least when it comes to pain, things like really painful things outside of our control, almost, I haven't found anything to satisfy the why, where it's like, all right, because it doesn't heal it. Healing is a whole separate process, right? The catalyst is like, it's not going to solve it just because I know why. And it's not a way to prevent it in the future. I think sometimes we're attached to the why so we can be like, okay, how can I make sure next time? Right. And it's like, don't kid yourself.
Is it closure though? Like, people want to know why for closure?
Probably. So the main one I hear is, I want to understand it so that I can make sense out of it so it doesn't happen again. Okay. That's the one I hear the most. Like, so I can basically try to control the next outcome. And it's like, you keeping yourself in a tailspin, right? Ooh. But I mean, it could provide some closure, or maybe it's like, I need to be able to have something valuable to learn from it. But often the why isn't what's giving us the value. Yeah. It's what we learn about ourselves or what we encounter, within whatever the situation is. That usually is what we've learned from it. The why doesn't necessarily teach us that. Right? Yeah. But we do need closure. Yeah. We do need closure because we are drawn to what's called completion, where we do need things to come full circle, so to speak. Yeah. How we get there and what allows that for us is not necessarily contingent upon understanding the why. Right? Yeah. It's just too nuanced. It's like, we're too diverse. It's too many factors involved. Yeah. But what you glean from it, what you benefit, what are the riches you got out of it, that's your closure. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, because you'll look back and be like, oh, I could see that now. And at that point, you don't give a damn about that why.
You don't. You don't care nothing about that.
You don't care nothing about why.
That's like taking a toy from a kid and he's just crying. But the toy probably icky, got all kind of stuff on it. Don't understand.
Yeah.
And you look back at it and be like, well, I have to get that toy away from you.
Right.
You might have got sick.
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't care about me getting sick, Exactly. What another part to your question though about the outcomes, when you said the outcomes. So yeah. Non-attachment. Yeah. This is is it Buddhist? I think it's a Buddhist principle of like learning to embrace the transient nature of life, because we get really attached to things staying a certain way, being a certain way. Yes. Even our own identity and how we are and who we are. You'll hear people be like, back in the day. Yeah. Yeah. I used to blah, 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 blah. And they be stuck there because they're so attached to that identity or that experience. And nothing is static. Like if our earth rotates, we have seasons. Yeah. Nothing stays, right? Yeah. And things continue. Now we like have renewal and regrowth and rebirth, but we get attached. And so if we can practice non-attachment, which is you're not clinging, but you're not pushing away. Yeah. You're right here, right now. Yeah. And so outcomes and attachment, they can lead to suffering.
I love that. Yeah.
You say yeah.
I like that. And it just brings up a lot of stuff that's going through my head right now. Right. So like, I think about like in relationships with other people, no matter the type of relationship with other people, when you start to change, they still see you as the same.
Yes.
And they don't understand, especially when you're doing the work. And you're not just saying you're doing the work.
Yeah.
You're actually
doing the work.
Yeah. And then you show up and they're like, you look different. You sound different.
You moving different.
You told me no.
You changed.
That's the biggest thing. Yep.
You changed. They're like an accusation. Like, how dare you? Yeah. And so in your experience, like, do you ever want to go back to how you were? Exactly.
Not at all.
You're right. I did. Thank you for noticing. Yes. Right. And the thing is, not everyone is receptive to growing, right? Alongside. And it doesn't mean you grow at the same pace or rate. But that goes back to like aligning yourself with people who are like-minded, like-valued, or at least some shared trajectory. Because otherwise, I've been told I've changed, and I was like, "You right," and I ain't going back to her.
Come on now.
Like I love her, but we ain't. Right. You're right. It was on purpose. But anything in a system that changes, the whole system changes. And so again, people are very attached, we'll use that, and their nervous systems are attached to predictability, certainty, things that feel familiar. It doesn't even matter if it's healthy. It can be really unhealthy, but if it feels familiar, we get attached to that. And so if you're in a relationship of any sort, that is a system, right? You altered it by growing and showing up different. So now you've destabilized the system, right? And then family, like in family work, it's called homeostasis, where the family, we all have families that just function the way we function. This is how we do. It could be jacked up, but this is how we do it. And then here you come moving different, and I think you, you moving there, or you don't love your family, and it's like, no, I'm evolving. I'm transforming my life, right? But you've disrupted what's familiar. It doesn't matter how healthy it is. What matters is you've made it unfamiliar. And so the system reacts. It's going to expand and contract to try to get things back to homeostasis. That's just systems theory across the board. Even in a car, one little thing off. Right? So, but the thing is being committed to the change regardless, because it's not about convenience and comfort all the time. It's about you aligning with the trajectory you know you've been called to be on. And it's a tough one, because I know my circle gotten smaller. We'll just put it
that. Same. And it's just been like you go through seasons. And you go through seasons of change, and every season can look a little bit different. But like you said, what did you learn in the process? What did you get from it? It wasn't about necessarily, like, as men, I listened to somebody and I believe it to be true. Men are always looking for the outcome. How can they conquer a goal? How can they check a goal off their goal list? That might be working for our dopamine, but that's a quick hit, right? But is that really activating the change within ourselves that's going to keep us going if we don't look at the full picture of what we've been through and everything?
I love that you mentioned men, because like y'all got a special place in my heart, as you noticed from the poem. But I was working at a juvenile detention with the young men there, and that was the hardest job I ever had to leave, right? But what you just described, it's so ingrained that everything is about performance. Everything is about conquering. It's like, it really, I mean, these young men, as young as 12, 13, 14, it's just ingrained in them that like masculinity being attached to output, performance, no humanity. Because humanity means you're effeminate or you're punk or whatever. And so working with them, like, it was really interesting to like navigate that space with them, because I'm in an environment where I've got to help button them back up and put that back on to go back out there. But we were able to tap into some humanity, and which was nice to see, and help young people understand men have the full range of emotions as women do. They're just as valid. Right? You're just not allowed socially to express and show up a certain way without major adverse consequences, right? Like,
what happens when they're like, a woman tells you, you're a man, you're not supposed to be complaining.
That pisses me off. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what happens inside of me. I can't speak for what happens inside of you.
It makes sense.
The issue with that is you're perpetuating the very thing you don't want. You want someone who can emotionally respond to you a certain way, but you're creating an environment that is again rooted in oppression and colonization.
Yeah.
And you're also creating disdain, right? Because if we don't sit and understand, or at least try to understand each other's orientation, like as women, this is how women are oriented as men, but like to understand the other side, we continue to just create discord by buying into the lie and then spewing it back. Because who am I to come up to you and say, well, you a man, like you don't know that, you're not supposed to complain. What?
But I find that to be like emotionally manipulating and controlling. Of course. Because what they're really saying is they want to attack something that they know you hold. And masculinity is fragile, and there's nothing wrong with having fragile masculinity sometimes, right? In moments, because we're all human, right?
Well, particularly for our men who were purposely emasculated in front of us.
Come on now.
Right? So that's like been carried through generationally, and then here you come sounding like a slave master, right? Like let that go. So I get in trouble because I stand up for, like I think I have a belief that if you're outside of a group and you advocate for that group, people tend to listen to you more. So as a woman, it would be it would be expected that I would join into the narrative, and I'm like, no, because that ain't right. So my thing is this: there is no one to ever speak with authority over another person's experience. So I can't come up to you and tell you who you are and what you should or shouldn't be doing. I can't impose that on you. I don't have the right. Right? No different than if you were to come to me and speak on something that you know is a low blow for me as a Black woman, right? Like the B word for me, it's a trigger word. I'm going to just say it.
Right.
I can't let it go. I know it gets used a lot, but I'm like, my sister helped me point it out. I was like, why doesn't hoe bother me as much as bitch? And she was like, well, at least hoe is human. And I was like, wow. Right? So we all know our low blows, and we know that to come up to you and say certain things, it's going to be a core hit, right? We don't have to do that. Like, it's more powerful to not. But what are you trying to get out of it?
Right.
Like, how are you gaining, right?
Right. Hurt people.
Right? Again, this is true. Yeah, and that I know.
It's something.
It don't make it okay, but
it's something. I want to go back because you worked at the juvenile detention center, right?
Yes.
And I know you heard the story pretty much, and it's kind of like I wasn't in juvenile hall, but my mindset of growing up in a single parent home was I got to make it to the NFL. I got to give my mom, put some money in my mom's pocket, buy her a house. So it's like growing up. A lot of young Black men grow up before they want to grow up.
Absolutely.
And aren't able to be a kid. And that plays a lot into like why we are the way we are, choices, things we are.
Yeah. I saw it a lot, and in fact, NFL wasn't really where they were headed, right?
Yeah.
They were getting money fast.
Yeah.
And by any means necessary. They were born into not being a child.
Yes.
Right. And if there isn't, that parent is not able to, or there's not a system, because it's not just a parent. So we're not even meant to be parented by one person or even an intact couple. We're meant to be parented by a community.
The village,
But if the village is teaching the youngsters how to hustle, right, how to load a gun, that's what they're gonna know, and that's what I saw. And so, but it wasn't just about putting money in their households. They also wanted to wear shoes. They wanted to have the nice luxuries. They wanted the nice cars, because that's also a birthright.
Yeah.
Like living comfortably.
Yes.
We don't look at it that way, but the truth is everybody has a birthright to live comfortably.
We rich people.
We're supposed to be.
We are. You know what I mean? I mean, the history that they don't teach.
Right.
Don't teach how we drift and go. And you look at Kemet, and you look at all those regions of Kush and stuff like that.
Yeah, highly resourced. So, but we pathologize that and we downplay it as unimportant. But the reality is, if we all was living comfortably the way our birthright is set up, and I mean all,
I love that. Yeah.
We would be straight, right? Like nobody would be complaining like, oh, this is superficial. Like, no, we would be like, this is great.
Yeah. Abundance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're not living in a scarcity mindset like
absolutely.
the Eurocentric view of being trapped in the mountains and can't grow shit on that soil, and then you come down here, you see all these beautiful women and fruits and vegetables,
and you plunder.
It's you're right.
But yeah, it was a lot of that in there, and I mean, very much. But also, they were seeing things immediate, like of course, and seeing things be easy. Yeah, and I agree. I want shit to be easy too. I don't want it to be hard. I don't want black tax. I don't want none of that, right? But they don't understand that this system was designed for them to be in that very spot, and that was a lot of what we would talk about is understanding. Because and you know, it's wild. Speaking of emotions and men, one of the things that I learned that was like mind blowing to me. I worked with the youth who had the worst offenses. Right? They had different tiers of youth, and so I went for those boys, right?
Yeah.
What I learned is they were the most sensitive, the toughest ones.
That part.
And I was taking this, one of my mentors, he don't know he's my mentor, just one of them well-known therapists out there, but he pointed that out because I was like really looking at that, and he said that, you know, some of the most sensitive people are the ones who do the most heinous acts in the world because that's how much more defended they had to get. Because the more sensitive something is, the more guard, more defenses you put up.
Yes.
And so, and it was, I mean, spot on because, and one of them, I mean, cold piece, and he was like, he said, I'm sensitive as hell. I don't give a fuck. He said it out loud in front of everybody. Right. He didn't care, but nobody would see him. Nobody was gonna see him, right?
And I love that truth.
Yeah.
Live your truth.
Yeah.
But what happens next, right?
Right. Exactly. But that's one of the things that people saw monsters, and I'm like, no, underneath all that is like someone who feels super deeply, who's very sensitive, and that was not nurtured. In fact, it was likely weaponized against them. Yeah, so I wouldn't do groups in there. They would want me to do groups. I'm like, nah, we're not doing groups because they're just gonna use that against each other. So,
and I see a lot of that. You know, and I have a son. He's 5 years old, and I try not to be the father that you know, takes because he's sensitive, his sensitive nature, and use it against him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And try to use it as a strength.
Exactly.
How can we reprogram that and make it a strength to be sensitive, make it a strength to be empathetic,
right?
To be smart,
right? To be measured in his thinking. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean that's what I'm grateful for because I do see, even though we have a road to go, I see it more and more where particularly Black men are starting to really embrace these other sides. I'm not even gonna say I don't like to say the feminine side. I don't like to say that. I'm saying more of like a more human. Just being humane and like embracing all aspects of their humanity without it compromising masculinity. In fact, to me,
it is masculine.
It's sexy as hell.
It's very masculine.
Very masculine.
When you can communicate your emotions. When you can hold emotions.
Right.
And I think that's it's just so divine.
It holds it all, and to me it's such an evolution from what I saw growing up. Even my own generation, like in my current generation, right? Because I mean, I'm noticing like even younger people, younger men are learning about this stuff because they have access to things that maybe we didn't and our parents didn't and their parents didn't. But to me, it's a reunion with what we were the way we were originally designed.
That's true.
And so you coming back to your roots without even realizing it, because we were not designed to be, you know, monsters or to be so one note and like our expression of being human, right? We're supposed to live out the full expression of our humanity, not just aspects of it. And so,
there's this show I like to watch. It's called From, and it's deep. I don't know if you ever seen it. It's a series that come on the M&G network, and it's about these people. They're like caught in this realm where like these things come and get them at night, which I believe is like their subconscious attacking them.
Oh, okay.
And there's little messages, and like the message on this season is like remember, right? And you said that a lot. You said
remember.
And each time I meditate, I remember a little piece of who I am.
Yeah.
And not just if I was born October 7th, 1988. Nah, that's not what I mean. Remember, like, the infinite source of who you are.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of these things that we go through, we look at them as like life altering challenges, but sometimes it's just things that get you to remember
who you are. Yeah. Interesting you say that. So that's a huge part of my meditation practice, is saying I remember who I am, and visually seeing myself connected to divine light and things like that, because it's so easy to forget who we are.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just be in the 3D and the reality, right? Yeah. But it's important to realize that, like, the remembering isn't always a remembering like, oh, that memory that I can recall at will.
Yeah.
It's more of an ancestral, more of a divine remembering.
Yeah.
So because we hold everything in our being, right? And so it's like coming into contact with a remembering that maybe you don't consciously know existed, but there's a knowing.
Yeah.
That you just know that you know that you know, right?
Yeah,
like you're just like, I know, but I don't know how to explain what I know. I just know.
Yeah.
That's what you're remembering.
Yeah. And I think that's dope too, because it's like, people might agree or disagree, but I believe we're on a mission, and we're sent here to do something. And that's our purpose. And however we find it, that's up to us. We have to look within.
Yeah. Ooh, you make me want to read something.
I don't.
Oh, my phone is over there. I listened to this lady. I can't take credit for it. Her name is Regan Hillier.
Okay.
And I was listening to a talk, and as she talked, I just started kind of paraphrasing what she was saying. But I think it's a good capture of kind of the whole of what we've been talking about. So can I grab my phone?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay?
For sure. Yeah.
Let me read this to you.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And when you said a mission, that's what got my attention.
Yep.
Hold on. Let's see. I ain't messing up your editing, am I?
Oh, no, you good.
Okay. It is warm in here.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
that thing. You want me to turn the fan?
No, it's all good. I'll probably start sneezing.
All right.
I'll have dust on that thing.
Allergy. Yeah, it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me read this to you, because everything you just said, I was like, yep. I was like, y'all in my business. It's right at the top. Okay. So it says, let me go to the top. So this is about purpose. It says, truth is a field and a frequency, and it's untouchable. Ooh. So your purpose and mission authentically are untouchable. Ooh. Your purpose is a presence, a frequency, a vibration that's been living inside of you since the beginning. It's the song of your soul. You don't create your purpose. You don't find it or look for it from outside of you. You remember it. You attune to yourself and allow it to rise up. Your life becomes the expression of your message. You stop trying to fit into a life that was never designed for you. You align with your divine blueprint. It starts with dissolving the false self, acknowledging fear-based identities, childhood imprints, and acknowledge the ego's tendency to keep you safe and small. Not who you keep telling yourself who you should be from your past. Ego seeks comfort in what it knows, what's familiar. So that's kind of line with the nervous system, right?
Yeah.
Soul-driven truth seeks expansion, asking yourself with curiosity, where am I out of integrity? Wow. It's not easy. It takes courage, ending patterns of fear and scarcity. Wow. You can have truth or you can have convenience. Wow. Your destiny isn't hiding from you. As you come into alignment, truth as an embodied frequency becomes your protection. I'm going to read that again. As you come into alignment, truth as an embodied frequency becomes your protection. I needed to hear that. Here's the end. There is a version of you already living in full alignment of your truest, authentic self. It's the one inside who keeps saying, I want a life like this, who already has the clarity, the courage, and the blueprint for the mission. Your task is to remember who you are and merge with that highest version of you.
Wow. Whoa. All right, that's a wrap. That's all we need. Yeah, I mean, that just basically summed up everything.
Everything is everything. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ruminate on that. I'm probably gonna ruminate on that for a couple
days.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, you could thank Regan Hillier. That's her name, Regan Hillier.
That's so beautiful, and it brings up a lot of comedic principles.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it.
Some.
Yeah, like the balancing of the scales, the weighing, like whether it's your choices or forgiving yourself, kind of like with a feather. You might have did something this day, but you like, it's all about not living dense and not carrying that weight.
Yeah.
And embodying your light and being that truth.
Yeah.
Right. And exactly what you believe in and what your truth is to be, living it out so others can see you doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's amazing. And it's interesting because as I'm reading this, I'm like, you needed this reminder because you're trying to hide right now. Because an ego wants to keep you safe and small, right? Yeah. And like being seen and being heard and doing it vulnerably and sharing your story because there's a purpose behind it.
Yes.
I mean, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. And it's still, we need it. Because the why is trying to think about who would go without, right?
Yeah.
Who would, the only way they would get this insight or this information or this love, whatever it is, what if it's just through my story? What if it's just through whatever channel that I'm on, and realizing like, what would that do if that doesn't reach who it needs to reach?
Yeah.
And then so it's like learning how to be okay with that question of, well, who am I to blah, 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 is like the perfect person, right? Like I'm exactly who I need to be to do it. But telling you, it's a challenge.
It is a challenge.
Yeah, I wrestle with it daily.
Yeah, it is a challenge, and it's hard. Like you said, again, it's about when things are familiar.
Absolutely.
Familiar becomes easy. It becomes predictable.
Right.
But like, I mean, with great knowledge comes great responsibility.
Indeed.
So you get those downloads and you know what you have to do, and you have to walk in that. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy to walk in that. I'm not saying that you're going to be abundantly blessed automatically.
Sure.
But
you will.
You can live with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So hold the fear.
Yeah. Hold the fear.
Hold the fear.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
All right. This is the Say Your Peace podcast. We have Simone Adkins, right?
Yes.
Simone Adkins here. Just a wealth of knowledge. Just great. A beautiful vibe, a light to have come here at the Say Your Peace podcast. And I'm just so immensely proud of you as a person.
Thank you.
Blessed to know you and be in community with you and the work that you're doing, because I know you are changing lives on a micro and a macro level.
I appreciate it.
And I really appreciate that. And something I like to do on the Say Your Peace podcast, I like to ask, what gives you peace?
Ooh, was I ready? What gives me peace? Gosh. I'm actually at a loss of words. It's because it's so many things. I think more than anything, it is coming into contact with myself, but like in a way that I am grateful, like for the versions of me who got me here.
Yeah.
And not judging them, like embracing them. So like I've done a lot of inner child work, and I would say connecting with that little one inside is one of the number one ways that I remove self-judgment or unrealistic expectations or being critical of myself. And so that's one of the many, many ways that I have peace, is like really accepting every aspect of myself with no agenda, no conditions. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I wasn't ready for that one. That's a great question. Yeah.
It definitely, I think it's important. I think like, what we all want to do when we transcend this form and we go to another form, it's all about, again, what we can shed and what makes us lighter so we can ascend like we're supposed to.
Yeah. Like we were meant to. Absolutely. Well, appreciate you having me on here.
I appreciate you too.
Great.
Let the people know where they can find you, what you got coming up.
Let's see.
Let's do it.
So my practice is called Attuned Counseling Services. And so I'm going to spell Attuned, ATTUNED, and then Counseling Services. That is the same name of my website. That is the same name of my Instagram. What I have coming up, two things. The first one is May 27th at 6 p.m. Don't 100% quote me on that date just yet, because some things have come up that may change it. But I plan to offer another free community event, a virtual event. And we're talking about gaslighting based on the feedback I got from the last event. And the prior events are recorded on my website. People can purchase them. They're $11 if they want them. But we are definitely going to not just talk about gaslighting. We're going to talk about how to disrupt, we'll recognize it, and how not to get sucked into the dynamic. So practical things I did personally.
Yeah.
And anyone who attends live will actually get a free gift from me related to the subject. So
free shit?
Yeah. Some practical stuff they can walk away with and put to use immediately. And then the second thing is I'm working on a somatic journaling process. It's a labor of love, I ain't gonna lie. But it's journaling to move you forward, because oftentimes we'll journal and we'll just kind of rehash the past. But this is leveraging neuroscience to really help shift some shit. And use, like what we talked about at the beginning, that reticular activating system, and get the body and the senses involved so we can start forming new beliefs. So that one's TBD, y'all. So don't, it's a work in progress.
Stay tuned. That means get on the website.
Right, basically.
You know what I mean?
Follow me. Sign up for my email list, and you'll get updates on everything I offer as soon as I get it out.
I believe that love is
well, thank you. That is the podcast. Roll your paper in a leaf, or paper in a crease. You know how we do it. And until next time, we'll talk to y'all. All right.
Sure.
Just to see where we at with the recording. Are we good?
We're good?
Yeah, we good. All right. So, I love